Before we talk about the IELTS, tell us about your journey of becoming a nurse.
Hi, so I'm actually graduated as a nurse on way back in 2013, and I took my board examination after that. So I work in a hospital in the Philippines. I got like circulated everywhere, so ER, med-surg, and operating room. So I decided to apply, take many times IELTS for me to get to UK. So unsuccessfully, I wasn't able to get the required score. So what I did is I went here in Canada as an international student instead. So that's what I decided to take NCLEX and get my journey to become an RN in the US, because getting my RN in here in Canada is really complicated to get my RN license. However, I was able to practice my nurse here as an LPN in a long-term care facility and hospital. So right now I've been working for a year, and I love this profession. It's just give me the best feeling ever if I give a care or passion to the people or to the residents.
That's amazing. So, and I know so many people can relate that it's a struggle. You spoke about not getting the required score for the IELTS for the UK.
Yeah.
But there's a big surprise coming, Jen, to everybody who's watching, because your scores for the IELTS are phenomenal.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
really shocked. Like, my speaking before was just between 7 to 7.5, and now it was like 8.5. And it just feels so amazing, because after the test I was like really weak because I felt like it's just 6.5, but when I received my result I was just shocked.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that is a good shock. That's what we want for everybody. So it's
Yeah.
possible. So you went from, in your speaking, you said you were 7.5 to?
Yeah, 7 to 7.5. I always struggle with writing. I always end up with 6.5 before, and I never ever had a writing result of 7. So that's why I'm so glad too that I got 7 in writing.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's incredible. And we can't wait to hear a little bit more about your IELTS preparation, because
Yeah.
you must have done some really good preparation to be able to make that kind of a jump. Before we
Yeah.
talk about that as well, tell us a little bit about your inspiration to come to the US. Who or what inspired you to come to the US, and what are you looking forward to in the US?
What I'm looking forward in the US is the opportunity and education growth. Like, a lot of companies in the US are offering a lot of opportunities for their nurses to grow and to have a specialty. So I'm looking forward to have that opportunity to be involved in the hospitals in there. And also the salary, the pay is really great compared to where I am right now. And a lot of nurses are enjoying the benefits of working in the US, especially with their families with them.
Okay, so a lot to look forward to. What is your goal in terms of your nursing? What would be
Um,
your absolute dream from a clinical perspective?
Actually, I'm currently studying peri-operative right now. If I would be able to continue it in the US, then I would be like operating nurse or critical care nurse. It depends. That's what I'm looking forward in the few years.
Okay, so you've got your vision, you've got your sights set
Mm-hmm.
ahead, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that you're going to get that, because you've already proven that you've done the work on your IELTS. So there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do that in other aspects of your life. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit more specifically about the IELTS. So you mentioned when you started out that you had taken the IELTS. I think you said a few times, right?
Yeah. I think 4 times for academic and 1 time for
Four
general
times.
for. Yes, 4 times. And I always
Yeah.
end up 6.5 in the writing and 7. I always got 7 and 7.5 in speaking. So,
Okay.
and that time when I was still in the Philippines, UK needed 7, at least 7 in writing. So I wasn't able to get that. And yeah, that didn't stop me there. I just keep on going. Like, I'm not scared. I keep on facing IELTS.
Wow. And that is just so inspiring, because just you saying that, I think I can almost hear the kind of like the bell going off in other people's heads. I didn't give up. I'm not scared of IELTS. I'm just going to push ahead. And that's really what the IELTS is all about. It doesn't matter. So if you
No.
didn't pass, I mean, Jen didn't pass 4 times, right, Jen? So
Yeah.
what? So what? It doesn't matter. So you're gonna just keep trying, and you're not gonna give up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you took the IELTS now this last time where you scored so well, do you want to share? Can I put you on the spot and ask you to share all your scores? Because they're
Sure,
so
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Let's give you your moment. You worked hard. You deserve your moment of shining, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, my score, I think I posted it in the group.
Yes.
So, I my listening is 8.5, my reading is 7.5, and that time I was actually like scared because when I went out for the reading part for to go to the washroom, I went back and my permanent residency card that I use for IELTS is lost. So I was a little bit panicked like 15 minutes under reading time because my ID was lost. So they told me you can continue. We will look for your ID, and which is really great because like they're looking for that ID for me, and I get to use that remaining time to review my answers in reading. Still, I was a little bit disturbed by the disappearance of my ID. However, I was able to manage it, calm myself down after, and prepare for writing. So it's just important for you to calm yourself, to know how to relax, because that's what it's important when it comes to dealing with your anxiety with a test.
Mm. And anxiety is really one of the biggest enemies of the test, because I think what
Mm-hmm.
happens with anxiety, and you know this better than anyone as a nurse, is that your emotions go up, and then there's like that chatter that goes on in your head, and you just can't even think straight. So you
Yeah.
really are sabotaging yourself. How do you
Mm-hmm.
calm yourself down? Can you share with us, like, what do you say to yourself to try and calm yourself, or what do you do to try and keep
Mm-hmm.
that anxiety at bay?
Yeah. So before the speaking test, for me to calm down, I took a deep breath for like 20 times or more than that, because I was the last one who's going to get the speaking test, and I feel that it's not enough. So what I did is I was waiting outside alone. I spoke English to myself. I keep on speaking and encouraging myself and get my memory, like get the score that I want in my mind. So for me to get my tongue can articulate well in times of speaking, because
Mhm.
sometimes that anxiety will like help your numb your tongue and you cannot pronounce well, right? So that's
Yeah.
what I did. I spoke loud because nobody's in there.
Good for you. So you took the deep breaths, you spoke in English to yourself. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you can share that helped you to keep that anxiety down?
The anxiety aside from that, I keep on praying, but I actually prepared the tips for the IELTS test takers for them to get that score.
Okay.
So,
Keep listening.
yeah,
We all ears, Jen.
yeah. So, the first step that I did is I set the date of my examination last May. So for me to avoid procrastination from studying, I set the date that I will take my test in July. So no more movement, no more excuses for me not to seriously study and review. So that's what I did. So if you guys are still doubting yourself, you try to book yourself 3 months ahead of time, 2 months ahead, then you can decide like, maybe I have to seriously study. So you don't have to avoid like, "No, I don't have a test date yet, so I don't have to seriously study for now." So yeah, set your date.
So set your date is the first big tip that you're going to hear from Jen. And I think, as you mentioned, Jen, having that commitment, it stops you from procrastinating. It stops you from like messing around. You're serious, you're committed, you're in. Okay, good tip. Thank you.
Mhm.
What else?
And spoil yourself if you want something to eat while studying, and like chocolates, because chocolates help me retain the information like faster than ever. And I also went to relax, like massage, and just to rejuvenate my memory, because it helps me a lot to relax. Don't stress yourself too much with IELTS, because it's your lose if you feel like you're weakened because of that test. It's just IELTS is the bridge going to the US. So for you to take that one, you have to take the risk, give your best, and you will get there in the other side of the bridge.
Okay. It sounds like what you're saying is self-care is
Yeah,
really
self-care.
important. give yourself the time and the energy and the effort to looking after yourself. And I really like the chocolate tip because I'm a chocoholic. I cannot go one day without chocolate, so that one really appeals to me. But I think that the message is really important because so often with so many nurses, they are working so many hours, especially now with COVID, feeling emotionally depleted, physically exhausted. So self-care, very important. Okay.
And the next step that I would like to share is to be a researcher. Sorry. To be a researcher, you have to read topics that are recently trending nowadays. Like for COVID, read some articles about it. Space exploration because of the recent space exploration that happened a few months ago, and technology. So be informed of what is happening to the world right now, because you don't need to memorize what is going on. You just have to have a gist of an idea as for you to share, and you will be able to talk about things if you are able to encounter that on speaking or in writing. So that will give you a leverage from all test takers if you did that well, like to become a researcher.
Okay. So do your homework. Do
Do
your
your
homework.
homework. Yeah.
As you're talking, I'm just thinking, I was told by one nurse that what she did is she created a few Google alerts. I don't know if anyone's ever used Google alerts before, but you go onto Google, you type in Google alert, and you can bring up certain topics, and then those topics will come into your email, and that will just keep you abreast of certain updates in the world.
Yeah.
So another very, very good tip, Jen.
Yeah, because if you read the article about it, you can get a vocabulary, you can get an idea, and you can use it in your speaking and writing. So that's a good way to make use of the word. Because the best way to learn the new vocabulary or high vocabulary words is for you to use it and learn it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. And next step is to have a study planner. So what I did in the month of May is I make a student planner where I put the week like for listening, for writing, and for speaking. Aside from that, I inserted my grammar and vocabulary exercises, and I also did like the one in Sush. So I inserted everything in there. So that's for you to organize your minds, your ideas, and how to tackle all those weaknesses that you have. Because if you just keep on working on listening and reading because you feel like I have to start studying IELTS and I have to start from listening and reading. And after reading, you feel tired, you don't proceed to speaking and writing, and you feel like satisfied because, oh, I did study, but just the two of it. So for you to be able to cover everything, you have to be like organized of the things or the component where you have to study like weekly or daily.
Okay. So organizational skills really important. You know, I'm just thinking as you're talking, and I don't know if you would mind to do this, but it might be a fun idea, Jen, if you can post after the IELTS interview, just a copy of what your planner looked like. Would you be open to
Sure.
doing that? Because I
Yeah,
think that would
sounds
be
good.
helpful for a lot of people. Sometimes it just feels so overwhelming. You don't kind of even know where to start. But if you wouldn't mind to post what your planner looks like, maybe other people can share what their planners look like. Because I think giving it structure is really important. And then you've got to have the discipline to keep going with that
Yeah.
structure. But I
Yeah.
think some ideas of structure, I would love to see that. I'm sure everybody would love to see what your planner look like. And then maybe other people can share what their planners look like, and just share some ideas in that regard.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. I can share my
Perfect. Thank
my
you.
planner.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
welcome.
And if there's
Yeah.
anybody watching who's got a planner, share into the chat if you have a planner. We'd love to see what yours looks like as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just looking at the chat as we're speaking. Jamie is saying, love that tip. Hyacinth, great tip. Myra is a woman like me. Chocolate is a great tip. Lindy, who's asking, how many hours did you study for a day?
For a day, I commit myself to study 4 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah. That is
4 hours
during
a
my
day
days off. 4 hours a day.
on your days off.
on my days off. And
Okay.
4 hours a day, I take a break, I stand up, eat, and watch a movie a little bit, 30 minutes, and go back to study. That's what I did. Just to relax my mind,
Mhm.
watch a movie that I want, go back to study.
Okay. And how long did you study for, Jen?
I seriously studied less than a month because I was still caught up with the other nursing processing here in Canada for the last few months. So I seriously study, and I found a study partner in the group about June, and I joined the swoosh every Friday speaking exam. And I did. I wasn't like, I just woke up that time, and they decided to have that speaking. So I volunteered right away. Like, just
Okay.
like that. Be confident in whatever you are like doing. So yeah, probably
Yeah.
2 months or less.
2 months, 1 to 2 months. So that
Yeah.
was pretty quick. But the key word that I hear you say is study seriously.
Yeah. Seriously.
Seriously, does everybody get that? Jen was studying seriously. So look what she was able to accomplish by giving structure, by giving organization, and by being serious. Okay, very impressive. What other tips do you have for us?
For the speaking test, because I know some people really weak, like felt like they're going weak because of that component. So speaking test, for you to ace that 7 or up, you have to mentally train your mind to get that 8,877 score on your mind, because you don't know how powerful your mind is if you start working on and getting your 7,788 score, because that's what I did. I keep on remembering the four score that I need, and I aim 8,797. That's what in my mind is. And what came out in my goal for speaking is just 7, and what came out is 8.5.
Wow.
So your mind is really powerful. That will dictate you what to do if you aim high.
Mhm.
So yeah, mentally train your mind for that. Don't be negative, be optimistic of what you're going to take, because that will help you motivate to study and grow. And if you keep on looking forward for the future, like it is for the good of your family, and it is one way ticket for you to get to your dream, then you will be very much motivated to get that score.
I love it. I love it. And anyone talking to Jen just gets that positive vibe from you. You know, you exude such positivity and such confidence. And I think that this will be so inspiring for so many people watching who probably are feeling right now maybe a little down, a little
Mm-hmm.
depressed. Will it ever happen? And I think the key is to have that vision for yourself. To because as you say, the mind is powerful. So if you keep telling yourself, I can't do this, I'm unmotivated, I'll never get to America, I'll never live my American dream. If you keep saying that to yourself, that's what's going to happen. If you want to be like Jen and you want to make that change, then that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, so go for it, everybody. Be optimistic and set your
Love
desired scores every day. Say to it, like, see it every day. When you wake up, you see your IELTS scores with you. And when you study, see your IELTS scores, imagine it, and boom, you'll get it.
boom. This has been really, really so exciting and so many wonderful tips. Any other thoughts to share with the people in the group, with the community?
Yeah, keep yourself like involved with a lot of study partners and sessions, because you will learn a lot from them, the vocabulary, and they will help you to grow. Like they will notice your mistakes, and also record your speaking session. You will realize and notice how fast you are, how wrong you are with your grammar, and you can use probably many more vocabularies if you notice that you keep on repeatedly using one. So you will then realize that's what I did for the last, I think, 1 week before my speaking test. I keep on recording myself, and I found that, oh my God, a lot of mistakes. So the next time I did, I noticed myself that, oh, grammar slips. So just a little bit. and focus on how you are going to express your ideas well, because sometimes you are keen on using high vocabulary words that you don't notice that if it's effective or if it went well with the sentences or the questions, and sometimes it's not going well, it just sounds awkward for that sentence. For me, I realized that if sometimes the words that we had keep on learning from way back before just automatically come out from our mouth, because it just comes naturally. So if you don't keep on minding that words that you needed to use and it doesn't come out in the test, then your fluency will be affected. Like you cannot stop stuttering because your ideas, you have lots of ideas in your mind that you have to use these words, you have to use these ideas, but it's not going on well with the questions. So you will stutter. The fluency is affected.
Okay, so that's very worthwhile for everybody to bear in mind. And I wanted to also highlight what you said about the recording. So I think that's important to for everybody to use, because that you can do that in your own time. And it's also not to say you have to study for 4 hours a day. So you might not want to do it in 1 month. You might want to take longer and not have the 4 hours to do it. So I just want to be clear on that. We're not saying everybody has to study for 4 hours on their days off. But I think recording yourself is a great tip, because you will be able to practice and to hear yourself, and that will really help tremendously. But the other thing that you also spoke about was a study partner. And I know we're almost out of time, but in the last few minutes, talk a little bit about a study partner. How did you have one study partner? Did you, how often did you meet? How did you work together with a study partner? Can you share a little bit more about that piece of it?
Sure, yeah. I only have 2 study partners, so I found out one in the group. So we did sometimes 1 hour or more than that. We cover a lot of topics, we cover a lot of questions, and we keep on providing a feedback to ourselves. And it's very helpful because he learned vocabularies from other study sessions. I learned vocabularies from other study partners. We shared it. So that's what is the great deal, is the big thing, that ideas and the answers. And yeah, it's really, really helpful.
Okay, good. So everybody in the group, if you do not have a study partner, please let us know, and we'd be happy to help you with that. But we have actually a very exciting announcement that's going to be coming into the group. We're going to be introducing study rooms. So Alex and I will be making the announcement this week, and tune in to find out more, because as Jen said, having a study partner can be enormously helpful, because not only are you learning from each other, you're helping each other, and it really can accelerate your learning. So there's going to be a big change in the group coming, and we're very excited about this. And I'm really grateful that Jen actually mentioned study partners, because I think that's a very important piece of this whole process. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So Jen, any final words to share with everybody who's watching? Myra's saying you're giving her confidence. So there you go. Aim high, says Netra. Everybody's listening to you.
Yes, the goal is aim high, mentally set your IELTS score, study seriously and religiously, then you will get where you want to go.
Okay, and that's the aim. We want to get you where you want to go, because Jen is now never going to worry about the IELTS again. She's going to know where she wants to go. And that's what we want for everybody who's watching, everybody who's in the group. This is our soft place to land, as I call it, which means this is our community to help each other, so that, like Jen, we don't have to worry again, and we can face forward and live the American dream. Right?
Yeah, right. I'll see you at the other end of the bridge.
We will
see each other.
Can't wait, Jen. Well, thank you so much to Jen. Such a breath of fresh air. Wonderful energy you've got, Jen. We're just so excited for you. You've done the work. You're going to reap the rewards now. And everybody who's watching, please listen to Jen's tips. Please implement Jen's tips. And Jen, thank you for sharing your study guide also into the group. We're really grateful for this time together, and we wish you only continued success.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.